what we're just talking about with and you saying the Kodashim, it made me think of what I was just reading in Isaiah 13 this morning. And it's basically a Isaiah 13 is a chapter where Yahuwah is speaking about the coming judgment about Babel. And it talks about the Kodashim um, being used as tools to see the day of Yahuwah is coming, fierce with wrath and heat of displeasure, to lay the earth waste and destroy its sinners from it. And the Kodashim go with him to bring this about, to cleanse the world in this chapter, which I think is very interesting. So anyway, kind of unrelated, but um, made me think of it anyway with the fires. And I just think I really, really think that so much of all of the negative stuff that we're seeing is all like a psyop. It's actually all meant to just cause us to fear and to think that we're not coming into the season of abundance and favor from the Father. Like, I don't know. That's my thought. But anyway, all right. We are getting into Sirach chapter 18. It's a little bit longer, I think. Oh, no, maybe not. All right. I did not read it ahead of time this morning. I got to the first two verses this morning is what I had time to do, and then I didn't get any further. So this is going to be another spontaneous study for me, which is exciting. Would anybody volunteer to pray us in? Jared, you just raised your hand. Are you praying us in? You're doing it. You raised your hand. You raised your hand. You can't take it
I
back.
thought you
No
were gonna say read.
I
volunteering to
will,
read.
if he didn't want to raise his hand to, if he didn't want to raise his hand to pray, if it was for reading, was it for praying, Jer?
It was for reading. You're
It was for
muted.
reading. Um,
Yeah, it was for reading, so it would be deceptive of me to take it any other way. So I can't do that. So
okay. I actually have a heart to pray this morning, actually.
yes,
So
exactly.
I would love to,
Perfect.
and so it was really cool too, because I feel like it just kind of what I feel like I have a heart to pray for this morning. I just feel like just leads really beautifully into Sirach. This morning I was just kind of listening to that song, Open the Eyes of My Heart. It's real old from 2000s. I was even had half a mind to ask Haley or Oria to play it this morning. I think someone's played it before, but um and so I just, I would love to pray this morning and then fellowship with you guys afterwards as well, and get into this study together as we go back to who he is and go back into our confidence of who he continues to prove himself to us time and time again in his unfailing love. And so, Father, this morning, I'm just so humbled and so awe-inspired and so amazed at your unfailing greatness and wonder that as I try to even search my brain to try to come up with words, Father, it's just thinking about your greatness. There's just no words that come. You are eternal, Father, and we are dust. Father, I just thank you for this Mishpaka. I thank you for walking us through Sirach, and you're just teaching us little by little, Father, and I just thank you for your patience as we go through this too, as we refine ourselves, as we go through this journey. I mean, you've shown us your wisdom. You continue to show us your wisdom. You show us the wisdom is from you. And in our trials, Father, in this journey, you use them to refine us. For your word says that you use all things good for those that know and love to serve you. And that is including in the trials and shaping our character and teaching us to live wisely and sharing with us your perspective and your lenses so we can see more clearly, Father. And myself personally, especially this past week or two, I've been having some little nuggets of fear trying to creep in, and I just kept focusing on just seeking him for direction and just seeking him for direction, and little fear nuggets kept slipping in, and the Father just reined me right in real quick, and he's back to the basics, back to the basics. Know your Elohim. Know your Elohim. And I think about my anniversary this morning and knowing the journey that the Father has put Jerry and I through, and knowing what faithfulness is through experience and through a journey. And I think about that reflection and that mirrored image between the marriage covenant between us and you, us and your Son, Father. Your unfailing love, that sense of knowing through experience and relationship is different than having the understanding and having the knowledge. So we thank you for the trials that have refined you, because it's given us more of a knowing of who you are and more of a confidence in you. Help us not lose sight of you, Father. Help us see you. Help us walk closely with you. Help me not get so focused on just seeking direction that I lose sight and the confidence in who I have in you. Help us make the decisions from wisdom instead of fear, and keep us from unnecessary sufferings caused by our own poor choices. Father, just teach us your ways. Teach us your ways. Listening to the song of opening our hearts, Father, we're going into a Sirach, and it's kind of about going back to knowing you and kind of going back to the basics again, Father. And I just ask that you open our eyes, you open our hearts, and you help us receive whatever you want to teach us today. And Father, we just ask that we leave differently today than how we came in. You have a word, yada, means knowing through relationship, encountering and lived through experience, Father, and we want to yada you. We thank you for your Ruach. We thank you for all that you do and all that you are. And we accept and receive you, Father, and we say all these things in Yahushua HaMashiach's name. Amen.
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 Amen. Thank you. While you were praying, a couple things. You quoted a verse out of Romans 8. And I was praying that verse this morning. Not the entire verse, but just sitting outside as I do and meditating. It was like the gratitude that was filling me was recognizing, because of my love for him, like thanking the Father for giving me a heart to love him, but because of my love for him, everything, literally everything, just works out for my good. And how much of that is the Basora is like so many people go through their lives and just have negative like things, and there's no purpose to it and all of that. But the moment you bring purpose to the pain and purpose to the suffering and say it's for your good and your glory, and you see it's like the blinders come off. And so many people in this life walk through pain, blindly. And I'm just very grateful. So the fact that that was on your Ruach this morning, um, it was just very edifying to me because that was on my Ruach this morning, completely separate from you.
That's
Um,
awesome.
I do have Open the Eyes of My Heart, and um, there was another, I don't remember what it is, but there was another song that came to my mind as you were praying, and I'm gonna have to figure out what it is because it says, "Let us not leave the same." It's talking about the Ruach coming, change us. Do not let us leave the same. So that's something that you were praying. I have Open the Eyes of My Heart saved and ready. If we did want to worship afterwards and kind of end on some worship, we could do that. And then hopefully the Father will tell me what the song was that says, "Let us not leave the same," because I feel like that would be really beautiful. All right. Um, all right. So now, can I have people wave who are willing to read, volunteer? Yes, Chair. Wonderful. uh, all right. So Jer, Haley, Jackie. Those are the three hands I saw. Was there any other hands? Just three? Okay. All righty.
Okay.
We have
Before I read that, I just want to comment on the Romans part about uh, the conditional aspect of all things working together for the good. It's for those who love Yahweh and for
mhm,
those who are called according to his purpose. That
mhm,
is the condition. And I have
mhm,
found that even though some people, I mean, especially Christianity, unconditional everything, you know, but not
mhm,
as I understand the scriptures. As I understand the scriptures and all the covenants and all the promises, everything is conditional. If you
mhm,
do this, I will do that. And even if you don't do this, I will do that because I promised to do that. But basically, if we were to reap the benefits of this relationship, there often is something you have to, like Stephen said to Cain, do you not know if you do what is right, you will be accepted?
mhm, mhm.
Like, because Cain was all ticked off because his sacrifice wasn't accepted. But again, right from the beginning, if you do what is right. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's kind of like, but that's the beauty of it. It's there's a threshold, there's a doorway you have to walk through to be able to qualify for that. And on one side of the threshold is bad stuff happens and it's just bad stuff and it's just all this crap. But then the moment you cross the threshold into loving the Most High and serving Him and answering the call to begin to work towards His purposes, um, everything, yeah, it's that is what transitions and allows all those negative things to be used for good, which is just, yeah,
I
deeply
actually have
fulfilling.
a little note right here that says, understanding is the doorway. Walking with him transforms the understanding into knowing. Kind of how
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
what stuck to me too is like Yahweh can change all that stuff and work it to the good. So no matter what it was, because he's totally omnipotent, he can take
Mm-hmm.
whatever happened to you and he
the
can just
the thing is
rearrange
too,
it.
Jer, it's not even like that though. It's not that he can do it, it's that he's already done it. That's the
Well,
crazy thing, is that it's already done
but you won't personally experience it
as
unless
it
you
unfolds.
love him. Like is if you reject them and stuff like that, it's done. It's there for you. It's like we have all this inheritance, but not everyone will inherit. I mean, claim it. Even though it's there. If you don't come back, if the prodigal son hadn't returned, he wouldn't have gotten the inheritance. There's always that aspect of there's something that we have to do. And I don't see that as earning our salvation. It's like the faith without works is dead. So that's to be, there's always got to be something that you got to do. That, I mean, that's me. You can think whatever you want, but I'm just saying for me, it always puts an onus of responsibility, accountability, action, purpose, incentive, drive, choice, decision, always comes back. You can't
Hmm.
escape it.
Just like
So,
a marriage.
oh, okay, well, we'll talk about something else. No,
Uh,
I'll start reading. Is there any limit or what you wanted to Just a
Yeah,
big
just whatever you feel. So we've got 33
33.
verses.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
got
We got
33 verses exactly. And we have three people that volunteered to read.
okay. That's pretty
So,
complicated math. Pretty
yeah.
complicated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He that lives forever has created all things in general. Yahweh only is righteous, and there is none other but he, who governs the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will, for he is the king of all, his power dividing holy things among them from profane. To whom has he given power to declare his works? And who shall find out his noble acts? Who shall number the strength of his majesty? And who shall also tell out his mercies? As for the wondrous works of Yahweh, there may nothing be taken from them, neither may anything be put unto them, neither can the ground of them be found out. When a man has done, then he begins, and when he leaves off, then he shall be doubtful. What is man, and whereto serves he? What is his good, and what is his evil? The number of a man's days at the most are 100 years, as a drop of water unto the sea, and a gravel stone in comparison of the sand. So are 1,000 years to the days of eternity. Therefore is Elohim patient with them, and pours forth his mercy upon them. That's 1/3.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Did anything of that stand out to you or anybody else?
Well, for me, it really spoke as a supporting verse that the Messiah is not Yahweh in the flesh, that he was given the power to express the will, the words, and everything of Yahweh, because it speaks about that, that he was given, you know, he assigns these things to whom, like verse 4, to whom has he given power to declare his works? And Messiah was definitely one that was given that in the most expressive way that mankind has ever encountered. Like there is no one who has better expressed, no man who has better expressed. Because he even said, I do nothing except what the Father commands me to do, and the words I speak are not mine, but for the Father's. So, and I think, and then we are to walk like he did. So if we can imitate and represent that walk of just laying aside our brief life, it's the maximum, 100 years, as it says here. It's nothing but a drop in the ocean. There's no better tasks that we could do than to try to find our purpose here in order to express and be like a representation of what Yahweh would want to be able to be in the world through us. So that's what I got from that section.
I echo what you were like. It's like a image of Yahusha, and I'm just looking up in the interlinear. Even though it's Greek, there's this few times in scripture we hear that Messiah is sitting at the right hand of the Most High. Let's see. Sat down at, here we go. Among, there we go. All right. So I thought, yeah. So it's translated to English as he is sitting at the right hand, which sort of means separate or next to. But if you actually look at the word itself, it's more so in, to be within something. So Mashiach is within the right hand of Yahuwah. He's not sitting at the right hand, but he's literally within the hand of Yahuwah, within the right hand. And so right hand is power and might in bringing forth acts. And so if all of creation is made and Yahusha is in the right hand, Yahusha is what is bringing things forth. And in verse 3, it says, who guides the world with the palm of his hand? That makes me think of Messiah being the one who is in the palm, in the hand of the Most High, being the one that brings forth all of creation. I mean, he's the light of the world. Nothing was made without him being made. And if he's in the right hand of the Father, everything that was made through that. So anyway, that stuck out to me. I also love that basically this whole chapter is comparing the majesty of the Most High and his infallibility to the dust and ash and in weakness of man. And like, what is man? Like, man has nothing, but yet in verse 11, Elohim is patient with them and pours out his kindness upon them. And there's other scriptures that he knows we are but dust, or this glory is found in jars of clay, or this power is found in jars of clay. And so all through scripture, we have this beautiful emphasis on weakness, that weakness is not something to be ashamed of or to fight against, but weakness is the way in which the glory of the Father is displayed more accurately. And there's so much beauty in being dust before the Most High and what he does with that. So anyway, those are my thoughts, I guess.
I just wanted to,
yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask if anyone else has ever come across the discovery of that they're tending to believe that all of creation, all forms of matter, is essentially light at different stages of frequency. Like it's almost like matter is frozen light or something at different stages. And so that everything goes back to light. That light actually is the physical construct or the atomic construct or the whatever of all existence. And so because the first thing that was created was light, and then it does everything, and then all things were formed from the light. So it's just like taking light and molding it into all different aspects of what is perceivable, which I found is like that's pretty profound. So I mean, how do you prove that? You know? But it was pretty cool. I just wanted to know if anybody else has ever heard that. It's just incredible.
It's so interesting that you're saying this because yes, it's so good. And this is totally like my jam. We're talking about you're touching on metaphysical properties of the creation of the world and sacred geometry and manifestation and all these things that so many people want to label as new age. But I watched a show recently and people can think what they want. It's on Gaia, which is just a streaming platform, and they have lots of different stuff. Some of the stuff is just not good and you got to be careful. But watching this show specifically about sacred geometry and all of these things, it was talking about these weavers of the net all throughout history and Egyptian cultures. There were secret sects of people who were able to control the net, which is this invisible dimension of energy that flows in all things and it makes up all things. And then the energy that we see is something that is condensed matter or condensed energy. And what they were describing in this net of once you go within and you let go of the physical reality of the condensed matter and you look at what it is energetically, different religions, and they describe it the same, but it was described in this video as a sort of network of interconnected energy points, and at each intersection point a node where all of this energy condenses is crystal, like living crystal. And from this crystal prism of pure living crystal, because crystal in the heavens is living, so living crystal, living stones, these nodes, from these nodes is where creation spills out of. So it's these condensed energetic pathways. And this makes me think of the sea of glass. So if you guys are familiar with the scripture that talks about before the throne of the Most High is this sea of glass it makes me think of us and stones and crystals and what he's forming us into to be living stones. If we, like each living manifestation, so the trees would be a specific node that from the living condensed crystal of life, spills out an element of creation. From birds, spills out this element of creation. It's like little crystallized things of light that all of this energy has to come into this condensed point and then it spills outward, which I'm still in the very beginnings of understanding it, but it's all light and it's all energy. And we literally, it's this idea that somehow we think the physical reality is what's there and we perceive it. But what quantum physics actually shows is that it's all energy. It's all just energy. And our bodies are what project everything else out of us. So we literally perceive reality, and that's what makes it condensed. Like the protons, which is light, are in a wave form until we perceive them, until we look at it, and then it condenses into a particle. So light literally is free until we perceive it. And through our perception, through us, it comes out into this physical 3D reality. So I don't even know. I don't even know all of the things. It's so complex and whatever. But yes, it's all light and it's condensed light. And quantum physics also proves that whatever energy is in the quantum or astral plane is what creates the physical reality. And the physical reality can change instantly if the spiritual nature behind it shifts, which is manifestation, miracles, power. It's everything that's in this physical reality is completely made up of the energy. So when you have energy workers, you have Messiah who's able to lay on hands. He's not messing with the physical properties of somebody. He's literally going in and shifting whatever is the physical thing that's manifesting the incorrect. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a tangent, and we need to get back on topic. But these are this type of thing is like this is the type of information that the fallen angels taught mankind, and it's been all throughout history of this hidden knowledge of how to manipulate energy, and it's completely possible outside of the Father, which is why New Age and witchcraft and all these things work. But it doesn't
Uh,
belong to them. This doesn't belong to
I'm
them.
curious if this is why the fallen angels and them are so interested in humankind because they don't possess that ability to do that. And so this is why they would teach people to do it and get them to be their minions. And
Hmm?
this is why we are so valuable because we've been
Mhm.
imparted with this creative power of being kind of like a transformer of energy into something else. And they don't have that
Yep.
capability.
Yeah.
And so therefore we become very valuable. And perhaps, I don't know, but it goes into the essence of what our soul is. And this is why they want to capture as many of the souls that we are as possible. It's almost like putting together a puzzle. Perhaps they think if they can capture enough souls, they'll be able to harness this energy of creativity. Who knows? I don't know. But that's what I was thinking about when you talked about it. And of course, you know about the slit experiment and energy and all this kind of stuff. And that's pretty crazy stuff. I love it. But anyway, just wanted to
Yeah.
mention that before I forgot about it. So
Yeah.
sorry for
Thank
not for
you.
talking without putting up my hand, Haley and Jackie. But anyway, so I'll shut up now
No, it's
for
all
a
right.
minute.
Thank you. Yeah, that was it. I would love to have like these types of discussions. Like, I believe that this is information and understanding that the Father is bringing to us for a reason. So I'm glad that we can talk about them. Haley,
I feel like Jackie was first. Do you want to go first?
Not really. In fact, I mean, I don't really want to. I just have a question about your topic, and we don't have to keep going on it if we don't need to, because obviously we can get back to study. But I've actually been struggling. I've been asking myself if this was hidden knowledge and Yahuwah didn't bring like should we be learning it? Is this something that he's wanting for us? You know what I'm saying? And so like that's been something I've been struggling with a little bit. It's something I'm going deep into. I'm feeling a little convicted of. Not really, no, just to go study it to figure out if even really should be even entertaining hidden knowledge. And what I'm hearing from what you guys just said was, well, actually, what I heard on my own, may not while you guys were talking, I guess I'll just say that, was that it was for him to bring out of us, not for them to bring out of us and be used for them. It was for him to, when we were ready, when it was ready through him and for him, and the removal of evil was out, then that was time to be shown that, okay, I think I just might be externally processing it on my own, but I'll probably still go get some Bible backup behind it. But
Sure.
just vomiting that out for anybody else that might be also teetering in this a little bit.
Yeah, well, honestly, it's a common fear. It's a common thing of you don't want to open yourself up to portals and things that could potentially be bondage. It's something that I wrestled with for a long time because I have a tendency to look in places that most people would not want to look in. Um, and there are things of like you take it all before the Father, but Messiah came and taught about manifestation. He came teaching about the eye that is the light of the body, and he came to teach. And if you read behind a lot of what he was talking about, it's about enlightenment. It's about raising your frequency and seeing through the Father's eyes, becoming spiritual beings and not beings of flesh. And this was all part of the Father's plan. It was written in the scroll of the heavens. Literally, Aquarius is a water jug being poured out of like living waters. And so there's this perfectly planned out agenda of time and space where we know in our own lives, Yahuwah does not give us the fullness of his nature right at once because we can't handle it. We get that on like a macro version in our own lives, but mankind is the same. Mankind, when Adam and Hawa left the garden, they were stupid. They had no idea what life was like. They had no idea what food was. They had no, like, so literally from Adam and Hawa to now, we've had to go through these scheduled upgrades of the earth, scheduled changes and resets and things that are all by the Father's design to prepare mankind for Messiah coming and to pour out. I mean, it's prophetic destiny that knowledge and wisdom and understanding and things of the Shemayim are poured out in the last days, and people dream and prophesy, and sons and daughters and old men. And so there is this element of knowledge and wisdom and the ability to manifest and throw mountains into the sea and raise the dead and heal the blind and all of that. We're meant to be able to do. We're meant to be able to understand these things because it all comes from the Father. There's not a single thing that the Father made that's not good. There's not a single thing that the Father made that's going to be bad for us or dangerous for us. What's dangerous is not having the discernment to look at what the enemy has and to be able to decipher what's truth and what's lies. And it was so interesting in Isaiah, of course, I lost my bookmark. I was just reading Isaiah 13, and this talks about, I don't even need to reread it, but in this chapter where it talks about the judgment on Babel, and let's see. I don't know where it is, but basically this taking back from the enemy, that the children of the Kodeshah, whatever that is, the remnant, the people of the Father, go through the world and take back the things that the enemy has taken. What has the enemy taken from us except knowledge of truth and power and authority and the things of the heavens and real history and real things? So to answer your question, to get to the whole summary, the sin of the fallen angels was that they ignored the plan of the Father to bring things out in his timing, and they decided, I'm going to take the stars and the heavenly bodies, and I'm going to take plants, and I'm going to take metals and crystals that are things that the Father made, and we're going to take them and frame this all as if we are the creators of the world, that we are the ones that made everything with this power, that we're the ones with the understanding of how to heal and have eternal life. And really, a lot of it's truth, but it's a shadow of the whole truth. And it's to catch people in this lower version, which so much of what they have is truth about manifestation and power and um, sacred geometry and the creation of the, like, they have truth. They have so much of the power, but because they don't have the submission to the Father, they literally get to experience max power in this physical reality. But that's the greatest deception of all, is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You can be like Elohim, you can know all the things that he knows, you know, and you don't need him. You can be like him. And so this is basically what's going on now, is you can be Elohim without submitting to him. You can manifest, you can heal, you can have all these powers, and it's very, very true, simply because humankind was made in the image, and it doesn't matter if you serve the Most High or not. He doesn't take away your power. He allows you to do what you want with it, and the fallen want that power to be used for their purposes, like what Jared was saying. That's the whole point of it. So they've taken the heavenly bodies and the Mazzaroth and made astrology, and they've taken crystals and the things that are of the Father and used them as a way to manipulate the Father's energy without his permission. And that's witchcraft and wizardry
And
and those things. So to answer your question, it's all about the proper timing. And I know I have sought truth outside of the Father's timing, and it was damaging for me. I received a call, I didn't understand it correctly. Not that the call was incorrect, not that the information itself was incorrect. My timing was wrong. And that's where my
that's what
sin
I was
was.
going to highlight too, is the timing. Like scripture says that when the fallen angels came and gave all that knowledge, it wasn't forbidden knowledge. It was, I think the scripture says that they just gave the knowledge before the appointed time. So essentially, we weren't ready. So we were meant to have that knowledge. They just gave it before the appointed time.
So I guess that would also be Adam and Eve eating the apple before the appointed time, or eating the fruit, because isn't that the,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The Father made the tree of knowledge of good and
yeah.
evil. He did. And he destined for us to eat from the knowledge and the tree of life. He made these trees, but all within the proper timing. And so he literally like had to cast them out of the garden, because he was like, now they're in their fallen state. We cannot allow them to eat from the tree, because they're gonna live forever in their fallen state, and we can't allow that. So like that's yeah. So he created them. He created these things that are good, but when you take them outside of his will, that's when they become wicked, really. Jer.
Yeah, everything created is good, but it's again how it's utilized and for what purpose. I mean, everything is good. And also about the timing and stuff like that, I'm saying, okay, well, we can probably reasonably agree it's been thousands of years prior to Messiah coming that the angels pre-disclosed this information of manifestation thousands of years before Messiah came. And then when Messiah came, he actually, there's the scripture that talks about, we will do, it's hard to imagine, but we will do greater things than he did. Well, it's been a couple thousand years, give or take, who knows history? It's so crazy, right? But it's been a while. And I don't think we've ever seen anybody doing greater things than what Messiah did. And why is it? So is it fear of not doing it right and and stuff like this? And then what does it say about fear? It says the man who fears has been not been made perfect in love, because fear has to do with punishment, but he who loves casts out all fear.
And
So if
doubt
we're
too.
yeah, well, that's what we fear, because we doubt.
Mhm.
That fear is a result of doubt. And I don't worry about anything. I I just say I literally do not worry about anything.
That goes back to what I was like saying this morning about the sense of knowing. Like there is a different knowing when you've had an experience in a relationship of always being able to fall back on him and for him to always be guiding you and taking you there. There's that confidence. There's that fear when you go back to the basics of knowing who he is, which is where he started us out on in chapter 18. Yeah, sorry, just goes back to the knowing.
Yeah, there's a difference between believing something and knowing something. And a lot of people don't get that. There's such a huge difference between believing and knowing. It says, I know whom I have believed, and I am convinced that he is able to do that which I have committed unto him against that day. So if you know whom you have believed, see, it shows right there, it talks about there's a difference between just believing in Yahweh and knowing him. And that's where knowing creates the love and it casts out all fear, because fear has to do with punishment. So I'm just saying, like, the reason I don't fear is not because I'm brave. It's because I know him in whom I have believed. And what is there to fear? I mean, like, to me, it's just illogical to fear anything. Like, if you really truly believe in Yahweh and his omniscience and omnipotence and plan for your life, I can't reconcile any state of being fearful, because it just doesn't make any sense. How can you be fearful if that's what you really know to be true? Or I guess you really don't know it to be true. I suppose I can't make sense of it in my mind. So anyway, that's just for me. It's not because, oh, you're so brave. No, I just seem to know when my daddy really well, and it's in his hands. And so what is there to fear? So I just offer that up, not as like, it's not a boast or anything. It's just it's a comprehension of what I have come to realize is true. And anything short of that is me doubting who he is or what he is and how he is and his love and everything. And that to me is illogical. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't compute. So why would I do it? I don't fear. I don't fear. I really don't fear, because I believe that I don't fear dying ever about anything from anything, any COVID or any scary nuclear bombs that don't even exist, all this stuff. I don't fear any of it, because I believe that I will not stop my last breath until Yahweh chooses that moment. And when you know that, how can you fear anything? No one else has the power over my life except him. So how can you fear death? So when he calls me home, what's to be scared about? I'm going, hallelujah. Really, it's just there's no fear. I mean, I can literally, I probably do crazy things too. Sometimes I should probably be more sensible. I hurt myself a lot because you got to get that under control, right? But generally speaking, I don't fear a thing, and I don't say that as a boast. I just say it as a comprehension of my understanding and love and knowing the love that the Father has for me. That's where it comes from,
It's a gift.
not from me. Okay, so just want to share that.
Yeah, absolutely. That love is what allows me to seek the knowledge, to seek the truth, to seek things that other people are afraid of, because at the end of the day, the Ruach is going to reveal to me whether something's in line with the Father's heart or not. And just trust and fearlessness. And it's true. So much of, and I think too, fear is in dimensions the same way that love is in dimensions. We experience love very shallowly. And um, as we grow, we experience greater and greater fullness of the Father's love. And I think why it's difficult for a lot of people to really experience true fearlessness is because you can get rid of one fear and then realize there's like hidden layers to the fear that you didn't realize at first. And part of refinement is like ripping out all the things we're afraid of. Haley.
Mine was just going back to the text that we were
Yeah.
reading. I wanted to ask Jerry again what his version said on verse 7, because I just have a big question mark by that verse. Because I just didn't understand what it meant in context of what we're reading. Yeah, it read differently than mine did. Yours did, Jer.
You're asking me?
He was reading out of the Sefer.
Yeah, it says, when a man has done then he begins, and when he leaves off, then he shall be doubtful.
Okay. Mine
That
says
verse?
mine says when a man is finished, then one begins, and when he leaves, then he shall be uncertain. I just have a question mark by that verse because I didn't really know what it was meaning right there.
Well,
No,
that's
I'm
two of
looking. Let's see.
us. It's not exactly clear
I
what
know
it's inferring
some
there.
things I'm like, I don't know if I think too hard on it, but it's like the more I think, it's like more it sounds like a riddle, and I'm like, I don't know what it's trying to say.
What did yours say, Haley? Sorry, I missed that.
When a man is finished, then one begins, and when he leaves, then he shall be uncertain.
Well, I guess I must have left because I'm uncertain. I just,
Um, okay. This is where I would typically go to the interlinear if we had it for the apocryphal text, where I could actually look at the language itself, but I can't. But when I see the word finished, it makes me think of the Hebrew word study that I just did, which is to be brought to nothing, to be completely ruined, to be finished.
Oh, okay, like to die to yourself is the beginning of
Kind of.
I guess.
Where is it? It was in Isaiah, I think. He's basically, yeah, it's Isaiah where he's maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, okay. It's called being undone, being ruined, brought to nothing, to be utterly destroyed, or to be finished. I don't know if that's the word that's here, but when I see finished, this is what it reminds me of. Dhamma. When Isaiah was first brought into the Shemaim and saw the glory of the Most High, he literally said, I am finished. I am done. There's nothing left of me. And it's basically gives this feeling of like all of our DNA, all of our bones, everything that makes us up of who we are was just unraveled in that moment. And everything that makes us was brought to nothing. And from that point, you literally are a soup of untapped chaos, of just there's nothing that exists. It's basically like before the Father said, let there be light, and it was just water and the Ruach vibrating over the waters. Before creation, there was just untapped potential and chaos. When you are undone, when you are ruined, when you are brought to nothing, and you are utterly destroyed or finished, you are literally returned to a state of completely blankness. There's no creation in you. It's a complete, which can mean destruction. I mean, you're destroyed in that process. But once you get to that point of nothingness, it's untapped potential. You're nothing, but you could become everything. So, in this, it makes me feel like when a man is finished, when he is ripped all the way apart and becomes nothing, then one begins. And if you go up to verse 6, as for the wondrous works of Yahuwah, there is not taken from them, nor any that are compared to them, nor may the expanse of them be found out. So this is like the wonders of the Most High. We're exposing ourselves. So when a man is finished, then he begins. So like to me, it's like he's ripped apart, he becomes nothing in the presence of the Father, then he can begin. Then one begins. But when he leaves, so like when he leaves the presence and the wondrous works of the Father, then he shall be uncertain. That's what I
Okay.
think.
That actually makes better sense now.
I could be very wrong, but I literally just did the word study on to be finished or to be utterly ruined before the Most High, and it seems to be that we have to be completely brought to nothing, and then we begin.
Yeah. I like that you brought out in verse 6, nor may the expanse of them be found out. It's like we have no idea our potential that we can. Yeah, that's cool. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
literally, all of creation was brought forth from water and energy, like the vibrational light of the Father that was pre-light. and then this chaotic living water that creates all things, that's what we get brought back to. We get brought back to the very beginning stages of creation. And the Father, then we give him permission to speak any new amount of creation into us at that point. And like, what could he make us into? That's
Yeah.
really cool. I'm glad we focused on that, because I do think that that's what it means. And I think it's also, it seems to fit. Then, therefore, Elohim is patient with them and pours out his kindness upon them. The following verses is talking about the weakness of man. Who is man? Like, we are weak, we are whatever. But he pours out his kindness and he brings us to nothing. Yeah. Jer.
Yeah, my lack of certainty on what this could mean is only because of one word that is used instead of another. And just because what I'm reading here, and it says, when a man has done, then he begins. It doesn't say when a man is done, then he begins. Because if it said that, I would not, I would get that immediately. Okay, when a man is done, like, okay, I give up, I'm done, I've finished, I've tried, I've expanded all my energy, whatever, all my wiles and thoughts. When you're done, okay, it's just like Yahweh allows us to keep doing stuff until, are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are you going to give it over to me? Oh no, let me try some more. I'm going to do it myself, like people do. And then he just kind of sits there and waits for us to, are you done yet? Like,
Yeah.
you still want to try it on your own? Like, and he just waits. But when we give it up, but it doesn't say when a man is done. It says when a man has done, which doesn't even read English to me. It just seems like I don't understand that. That's
Yeah.
because I would
I
never
wish
speak
we
like
had
that.
some original, like, I wish we had an interlinear, like, to go with
Yeah, exactly.
these.
Like or I said, yeah. So that's why I said I understand and I agree completely. It says when a man is done, then he begins. It's like hitting rock bottom. The reason Yahweh knocks you on your back is so that you'll look up. So I get that, but it doesn't say that. And that's why when I read it, when you asked me, Haley, I went,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure when a man has done. It just doesn't seem to be proper English as I understand English. So I just want to put that in there. But I agree with, when a man is done and you give up and you hand it over, and then you can actually start. And you can't start until you actually exhaust all your own resources, so to speak, right? So if that's what it means, yeah, I get it. But it's just the way it's worded. It just doesn't make perfect sense to me. So
Yeah.
anyway.
I found it online. There's the interlinear version I have of this is in Greek, so it's not Hebrew. But it pulls where the word is used in the Septuagint, which that's all in Greek. So the whole Old Testament is also in Greek. So where this word is used, it's centinel, centelleo. Centelleo is this word. Some other times that this is used is Genesis 2:1. Thus the heaven and the earth were finished. On the seventh day ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his works which he had made. A window shalt thou make. Let's see. Oh, and a cubit shall thou finish it above. Let's see. Fulfill her, and we will give thee this also. So fulfill is also used or translated as this word.
Does it specify whether it says like is or has finished? I
Would
don't
it
know.
be in the New Testament where Messiah on the cross says it is finished? Is that a similar word in the Greek? Like it's done, it's finished?
So can somebody look up what that is, where that is in scripture? That
Yeah.
it is finishing. Verse 7.
Pretty sure it's in Matthew.
It's finished when man, there is no has. There is no word there. The translators inserted that word. It directly is.
That's why I was saying that it's that just doesn't make, I don't speak like that. And who says that when a man has, like, I mean, I'm just going, anyway.
Well, languages. So like Hebrew is the same, where like grammatically the words are arranged differently. So oftentimes what translators do, and I was just talking to Hesedi too about this the other day, of like there is so much interpretation and personal preference of how these things are assembled with these translations. Like as I go
Mhm.
and I look at the original language, even in things of the Old Testament, that should be easy. Like that we've just been reading these texts in English thinking that they're accurate, thinking that they are a
Oh.
true portrayal of what is being said. And like sometimes it's sometimes they accurately, like even though the words themselves are not at all translated over, sometimes they do sort of accurately take out the meaning of what it's trying to say and put it in a way that makes us understand it. But so much of it is like just the best they can do to try to convert it from one language to the other. So this in English says, when man hath done, then he beginneth, and when he leaveth off, then he shall be doubtful. But in Greek, literally it's translated, when finished man, then reign, and when it's so weird. When finished man, then it says reign. Then it's a
Reign
first.
is
So it said
REIGN or RAIN?
like a kingdom. So in our
Reign.
text, it says when he,
Okay.
but what this literally says in Greek is when a man is finished, then he reigns. Um,
Okay. Okay, I think I got it. I think it's because when you think it's almost like you're, it's almost like once you think you've arrived, you realize you haven't arrived to anything. Like once you think you've gained the knowledge, or once you've gained the knowledge, now it is actually just now begun. Once you've got finished with the understanding, now it moves forward.
yeah, I think, yeah, when you get to the very end of yourself and there's nothing left of yourself, then you can actually truly begin. And it's interesting because both are say then one begins, but this literally says then he reigns. And let's see.
Yeah, because that's whenever you've completely removed yourself fully out of it. When you've brought yourself down to nothing.
Because a king should reign not for himself, but for the people.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
we didn't hear you, Oria, for some reason.
In the Greek, it also says, like in my English, it says, and when he leaves, then he shall be uncertain. But in the Greek, it says, so okay, so it says, when a man is finished, then he reigns, and when he ceases, then he shall be doubtful. So it's leaving, but it's ceasing whatever the work that the Father is doing. Like when a man is finished, when you come to the end of yourself, then you begin to rule. But when you leave, when you cease, it's basically to stop doing what you're doing. When you stop doing it, then you're uncertain. So I think that's really interesting, all of that.
It's kind of like the more and more you do stuff, the more and more confidence you gain in it, the more and more you keep going, it continues to snowball. And that's with everything in life. That's with learning how to tie your shoe. That's your relationship with the Father. That's in your marriage. It's in all those things. The moment you stop to, the moment you stop, the moving forward is where the uncertainty starts to come back in at. And that's where like I was getting those little nuggets of fear this morning. And the Father's like, just go back to the basics. Just go back to who I am. Addie, I was thinking about you last night. I was going to have you help me hunt for clovers.
I told her to
I
come.
don't know if she knows who she's talking to.
Yeah, oh, it's Jackie. She can't, yeah. Do you remember Jackie's voice? Do you know that's her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there she is. All right. She was coming up to ask for something, and I told her yes, as long as she sat with me for a minute and said hi. So thank you. All right, you can go.
It's in John where he says it is finished.
Perfect. Okay.
John 19:30.
Yes, thank you.
When you're
Yep.
looking for that,
I went through the gospel till I
you're-
found it because I was like, I know it's there. I just don't know which one. I thought it was Matthew, but it's John. It was right after they gave him the vinegar and then he said it is finished.
All right, let's
Yuri
see.
asked in chat why you earned English because it's so confusing, and I wanted to just tell him, does he know that English actually means to speak in angles? It actually means it actually does. It means crooked speech, bent, crooked. That's what English is. And so if you're wondering why it's so confusing, it's intentionally done so, and it's also why it is the world language.
And everybody, Yuri has committed to teach everybody Italian just for that reason. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
All right. It's not the same word used.
Okay, it is
This
finished. Okay, okay.
when he says this phrase, it's tetelestai in Greek, tetelestai, and it means it has been accomplished or it is now accomplished.
Fulfilled. You mentioned before when fulfilled, so it's not the same. But fulfilled is a different word again. Fulfilled, accomplished, because he came to fulfill the law, not to
Yeah,
abolish it.
teleo.
So,
Teleo is to accomplish, to end, to complete, to execute, to conclude, or to discharge a debt. It is finished.
oh, that's a
Teleo.
good one.
Let's see. So what was that other word? Let's see. Finished. Greek.
Well, we got the word done here. It is done, which is done, finished.
What one is that? What was that word? I already lost it.
Well, in the Seaford is done, done, and then you went into finished, completed, but it uses the word done. But it's interesting. I wanted to say while you're looking for that is people generally treat translations as infallible scripture rather than not understanding the doctrine of the infallibility of the scriptures. And they treat translations. So it's got to be King James. It's got to be this. It's got to be like, and when you talk to people like that, if they really believe that, it gets difficult to reason with some people who believe in the infallibility of translations. So, it's not like we're discarding what the scriptures are saying, but we're just taking it in context and understanding the frailties and errors of men, and that most world translations have been financed by denominations who have a particular, let's say, intention and goal in order to, try to make the translation fit their doctrine. I mean, who would even think such a thing could be possible, right? Oh my. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that the doctrine of the infallibility of the scriptures only pertains to the original manuscripts. And seeing how there aren't any original manuscripts that we have access to, that kind of makes it a bit of a challenge. So anyway, I'll shut up now.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, it's true. But to kind of wrap up this thing, the word done or finished in Sirach is a completely different word. They're both Greek words. One means sort of brought to the end of yourself. You are completely brought to nothing. There's nothing, or like you've reached the end. You're finished with what you're doing. Whereas the other is more of being completed. They sound similar, but they are completely different words. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Are we moving on finally to
We're done with done.
we're done with done. Fantastic. It's finished. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Haley, you're the next on my screen for reading. Unless
Sorry,
you look like you're
I
getting ready to
just
get
I just spilled my coffee all over my desk. So maybe if Jackie can read, give me a minute.
uh Jackie, are you in a place to be able to
Yeah.
read?
Read.
Okay, would you
Yeah.
read 10 through 21 for us, please? Or wait, no, 12. Sorry, not 11. 12 through 21. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just going to read the one up above. Therefore, Elohim is patient with them and pours out his kindness upon them. He looked up and saw their end to be evil. Therefore, he multiplied his compassion. The kindness of man is towards his neighbor, but the kindness of Yahuwah is upon all flesh. He reproves and disciplines and teaches and turns them back again as a shepherd of his flock. He has kindness on those who receive discipline and who diligently seek after his right rulings. My son, do not blemish your good deeds, nor use harsh words when you give. Does the dew not relieve the heat? So a word is better than a gift. Look, is a word not better than a gift? But both are with one showing kindness. A fool shall reproach harshly, and a gift of the selfish consumes the eyes. Learn before you speak, and use healing if you are ever sick. Before judgment, examine yourself, and in the day of visitation, you shall find kindness. Humble yourselves before you become sick, and in the time of sins, show repentance. Let not hinder you to pay your vow in due time, and do not delay till death be declared right. Before you pray, prepare yourself, and do not be as one that tries Yahuwah.
I like that last verse a whole lot.
Yeah, I had to put it in, sorry.
Yuri.
What's a dew? I literally don't know what's a dew.
It's
Like in verse,
the water stuff that accumulates on the grass and the ground and stuff in the mornings and stuff like that.
oh,
Condensation.
okay, got it.
I wish Maria was here. Because she and I recently, like, we've had this, the dew has been on our Ruach of the Father. Like, there's literally a gate or storehouse in heaven of just the dew. That there is in Hebrew, the dew is so much more than just simply water. It begins the night before, it begins the rest. It is something that before the fall, it never used to rain. The only thing nourished the land was just the dew, and the dew contains the full completion of living water, and it rests and settles, and it begins the night before, which is really interesting. And we could do a Hebrew word study on it, but Maria and I were just recently appreciating dew.
What's really cool about dew too is dew is a provision that's never failing, and it was always there, and it's something that you could almost become to expect and rely on as well. And I don't know, I just thought that was cool too.
Well, dew is a gentle watering, a complete and a thorough watering, whereas rain can often be violent and cause floods and erosion and destruction, but dew, I don't think you've ever had a flood caused by dew, or any kind of destruction caused by dew. So
Dew
I'm
sounds like
happy.
a
Go
gosh,
ahead.
overly. I think I'm.
Let me unmute here. Sorry. Do sounds like in verse 13, it says, but the kindness of Yahuwah is upon the flesh. It's like dew is like the kind way of watering the earth compared to all those massive floods. Ew, a fly just fell in my coffee.
Yeah,
And then
Nice.
you have dew weapons. Look at, they use the same acronym. Like, I mean, that's probably no coincidence either. They love acronyms. The the bad guys, directed energy weapons, that destroy things. And whereas the dew nourishes, and then they go, okay, we'll
This
nourish
has
our.
not, yeah, I was gonna say this has nothing to do with anything, but my dad always called me Little Dew. That was my nickname from my dad because my
I
middle name
love
is
that.
Rain. Well, my middle name's Rain, so he always called me Little Dew.
that's so perfect.
I love that your middle name is Rain. I mean,
Just as long as you don't get called doo doo, that's just just one doo will do.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, Yuri's trying to figure out our English banter here. I know.
Like little doo doo. Oh gosh, stop.
She's just a little
Oh,
doo-doo. Yeah, anyway.
I know a
Anyway.
little bit of banter. I know a little bit of English banter. I grew up with it anyway, so I know what you're meaning.
Oh, good. I think.
Yeah, it's been like that since I was 8 years old. I grew up with the English language like that, so I'm good.
Okay.
I'm looking at just I'm back in interlinear to try to find Rock 18. That's where we are. Verse 13. The mercy of a man is towards his neighbor, but the mercy of Yahuwah is on all flesh. That word, flesh. Okay. Just humans in that. I was curious if that word flesh would mean like all of creation,
I had
or
that thought too.
in this particular, the kindness of Yahuwah is upon all flesh. It's all mankind specifically in this context. Whether or not that's important for context, I don't know. I also know the love of the Father is on all of creation in different contexts, but this is specifically about mankind. And I think it's really beautiful. Like he looked upon and saw their end to be evil. Like he knew the state of his servants. He knows that we are dust, and he multiplied his compassion. And it's like mankind tends to have favor towards those we love, towards those who are kind to us, but Yahuwah has kindness upon even those who hate him.
Yeah.
And we're like he met us and loved us while we still hated him. And that sets his love apart. Then like we are kind and loving towards those who we know. He is kind and loving towards all flesh. Yeah. Haley.
Yeah, I had that whole section, verses 12 through 14, underlined, like you just said, like he looked upon us and saw nothing but evil, but he, instead of like multiplying wrath or whatever, he multiplies in kindness or in compassion, which is just humbling to just think about. But also the part where it says, he reproves and disciplines and teaches and turns them back again as a shepherd, as a shepherd his flock. He has kindness on those who receive discipline. And right there, I wrote in parentheses, accept, because there's a difference between like receiving, like taking the punishment, and accepting it. Like, what are you learning from it? You're receiving the lesson. And so that's what I thought about when I read those. That's all.
I'm like rereading this again, and I'm like highlighting it all because it's so good. Jackie.
Sorry, let me unmute Zoom user. Okay, so Haley, I pick up actually right where you just left off on what I wanted to point out here. My son, and this is just so beautiful because I think about parenting. In this next few little bit, I think about how we handle our children or how we handle those that we lead over, or just even people at the grocery store. And I think about my encounter last night, and whatever, but it says, my son, do not blemish your good deeds, nor use harsh words when you give. And one that lets me know that I can blemish my good deeds. I mean, so nor use harsh words when you give. Does the dew not relieve the heat? And I think about that soft, tender, instead of like the flood. But so a word is better than a gift. And I just think about like empowering and uplifting people, and encouraging them. And that's what he does for me. And that's his grace, the empowerment to keep moving and to do that for others. But it says, look, is a word not better than a gift, but both are with one showing kindness. And then it says, a fool shall reproach harshly. And I think about times I reproach harshly, and then and a gift of the selfish consumes the eye. I don't know. So it's just like, when I will tell you, when I am reproaching harshly, when I am blemishing my good deeds, I will tell you that it's likely due to the fact that, sorry, this is all externally processing. So you guys are just on for the roller coaster. This is how it works. But then that was because I did those things before truly examining myself, which it says on 20, it says, before judgment, examine yourselves and humble yourself and stuff like that. And so I just feel like I would operate in so much more compassion and kindness. Or maybe it reminds me to continue to remove my plank or look at my plank and self-examine and also be kind. And it could just be a word to give a gift to somebody, and instead of I don't know, it's kind of all of it, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much I'm just gonna reiterate a lot of what you just said, but with my own input, I guess. But it's kind of like this poetic sort of, the Most High shows us his majesty in the first part of this text. He shows us the weakness of mankind, so his majesty compared to the weakness and frailty of mankind. And then he tells us his kindness. But then after that, becoming his children, so he reproves and he disciplines and he teaches, he shepherds his flock. Then from 14 and on, it's almost like he's putting responsibility on our shoulders now. So he's majesty, wonderful, we are dust. When we learn, he has kindness for us, and when we learn, then he turns it to our responsibility. And so in 15, my son, do not blemish your good deeds, nor use harsh words. Verse 14, it says, though who seeks diligently after his right ruling. So we just were learning about right ruling, learning to discern and judge according to his ways. And then the power of the tongue. Those were like our back-to-back studies that we just did in videos. So it seems to sort of resonate with what the Father's teaching us about the learning of how to judge and discern rightly according to him. And then when we share, when we speak, it should be filled with kindness and wisdom and love. A fool reproaches harshly, and a gift of the selfish consume the eyes. This is like if we are to act in error and our own blindnesses, what we bring out will consume the eyes. It will be the thing that people see. Most people will notice the negative things you do so much more than the positive things you do. I think the statistic of negative experience is something like 6 times as more potent than a positive experience. And for you to undo what a negative experience has done to your neural pathways, you have to have a positive experience 6 times to overcome what that negative experience has done to you. So this makes me feel like is if we speak in error, if we have a plank in our eye and we judge, if we reproach harshly, the gift of the selfish, which when we are speaking harshly, when we are reproving harshly, it's coming from our own brokenness. It's not coming from love. It's coming from wanting our own comfort, wanting things to be our way. It is a selfish sort of reproof. It is a selfish, ego-driven form of correction and whatever. And if we act in that way, the gift, what we intend to be as something that is beneficial to somebody, when it says it will consume the eyes, it makes me think of it's all they're going to be able to see. They're not going to be able to see your good intentions. They're not going to be able to see the Father through those actions. They're only going to see the negative Ruach. They're only going to be able to perceive the negative. And when we operate with the Father's name and we speak outside of his will, it's extremely dangerous because it taints how people perceive the Father. It taints how people perceive truth and perceive wisdom, because you can be speaking truth in tainted with selfishness, and they won't see the truth. They're only going to see the negative. So it is even more like we just were doing James chapter 3, which is like the biggest chapter about the power of the tongue. Like, not many should become teachers, my brethren, because somebody who can control their tongue can control a whole body. And the tongue is a small thing, but it controls great. It can set fires and all these things. So it's literally is like, you better humble yourself. You better check yourself. You better examine yourself before you speak. Healing yourself, humble yourself. Do not delay until death to be declared right. So if you have things that you're holding on to and you're like, I'll just put it off, I'll just deal with that within myself some other day. There's this unhealing, there's this wound, there's this thing of unforgiveness or whatever. I'm going to deal it. Or there's this inner shame or this sin that's eating away at me. It's like, don't wait until the day of death. Don't keep putting it off. And then lastly, in 23, before you pray to prepare yourself and do not be as one that tries Yahuwah. We're told to pray in the Ruach at all times. And you can have an empty word spoken and it's not as dangerous, but you bring yourself before the Most High, and you come before him wanting and needing and all of these things while you are still filled with hypocrisy and bitterness, and you're coming to him and praying for all the things that you want, but you haven't checked yourself. You haven't actually gone within and refined and gotten out the hypocrisy and gotten out the selfishness and the foolishness that drives what you do. Your prayers are an abomination. Like, you are testing the patience of the Father. And that's why, like, in the Old Testament, they didn't have grace like we do. We live in the Ruach. Our flesh is dead. So we're not put to death when we bring strange fire before the Most High. It just tries him and tests his patience with us. But like back then, if you brought strange fire, it's deadly. I mean, it's you're asking for the presence of the Most High to fall on you in your broken state, in your darkness, and the fire of the Father burns away darkness. So you better be real sure. And I think it's one of those things of now, like back then it was deadly, but now the Father, just in his kindness and wisdom, is not going to let his Ruach fall upon you while you're in the midst of your issues, because it's testing him, because he cannot abide with darkness. He cannot abide. And there's so many people that think they're praying to him and that he's listening, but his ears are closed. Like, his ears are closed because the heart isn't right and he doesn't care. Not that he doesn't love, but there is a threshold of humility that you have to come to when you enter his presence. Jer.
Yeah, what we're talking about, the tongue, and what came to me is, it's common knowledge, but the news is almost exclusively negative. That's all the news ever is. And every now and then they'll throw in a happy story, like it's like a cookie. Yeah, like, oh, good news. But the vast majority of worldwide news is an inundation of negativity and how horrible things are. And what came to me, I was reminiscing on that, is, and then what are all the ads? They're the solution to all this negativity. Win the lottery, buy a new car, take this drug, buy this outfit, go on this vacation, and you'll be happy. So here's all how terrible the world is everywhere. Scary, 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 boo, boo, boo. But and then all the advertisements come in to cure it. It's the false cure for the problem they create. And then we're talking about the tongue, and all this stuff seems to be pertaining to the individual. But the mass media has got to be the most huge tongue worldwide that is constantly blathering. Like, talk about a tongue. Like, it's unprecedented.
Yeah.
And the music industry is all tongue. And all the songs are all tongue. Everything is talking to you. So the power of the tongue isn't just for the individual, but then you get into social media influencers that make millions of dollars from their tongue. And what are they influencing to do? So
Yeah.
it's so much more than just how we talk to each other, but obviously we can only be accountable for ourselves in our own speech. But I was just getting the collective of all of this with the news and the advertising and the influencers and the
Yeah.
politicians and the stories. It just made me go, wow, it's just it's not good. That's what I want to share.
Yeah, I mean, it's death is in the power of the tongue, and somehow this loops back to the fallen angels and how they want to control our tongues. Why? Because through the power of what we declare, we can either bring life or death. We literally have the power to create from nothing with the power of our mouths, and the enemy wants to use it. And the news, what you're just talking about, news, social media, influencers, all have the same energy fueling their tongue because the enemy wants to propagate negativity. And the more humankind speaks negativity, the more negativity is manifest in this physical reality. The thing that the enemy wants the most is to use our tongues to bring forth negativity and death rather than life and goodness.
Yeah.
But it's because we manifest the news and the negativity, getting mankind into this negativity. It just keeps it festering in this negative
Yeah.
cesspool of toxic energy.
That leads me to what I was gonna say when you're done. Sorry, go ahead.
That's done. Perfect. Yeah.
Well, I was going to comment on 19 and 21, but since we're on kind of the theme 21, humble yourself before you become sick. And so when all of these news outlets are just pushing out all this negative news, it keeps us in a fear state, a negative state, which in turn makes us sick, even physically. And I was watching these videos yesterday about studies from this book from the 1800s. It was a book from a doctor of some sort, and she was just recording all of her studies in her patients, and she was talking about across all kinds of categories about how the state of people's mindsets really affects their health, and people who tend to be angry all the time are sick a lot more physically and things like that. And so it's really fascinating how your mental state or your spiritual state can really affect your physical being. So I was going to bring that out. And then in verse 19, I'm not sure if the interlinear that you have, Oriya, can give any more information, but I picked up on the wording here. It says, learn before you speak and use healing if you are ever sick. It doesn't say seek healing or pray for healing. It says use healing. And I think that also kind of ties into 21 in this whole concept of your mindset and belief. It's where our power of healing comes from. So yeah, I don't know if the interlinear picks up on the use of wording there, where it says use healing. But I find that interesting. Huh?
She went to the restroom, so she won't be able to look at that interlinear.
Oh,
Yeah.
hopefully she heard me.
You know, the scripture says, as a man thinketh, so he is.
Yeah.
So the power of our thinking most
Yes.
certainly affects our well-being and everything about our state of, peace or whatever. I mean, something it's a funny thing. I just wanted to throw this in because I was going to mention it earlier, but I didn't. It's this, like, how people, it seems to be in society, everybody is offended. You can't offend somebody. Don't offend this. You're offending people. You're racist. You're bigoted. Blah, 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 blah. I try to tell people, you can't offend me. I can't be offended. And the reason for that is because you ever heard the phrase, well, don't take offense? Well, no, please don't take offense. I go, no problem. I never do. So no matter what you say, I don't take it. Because anything anybody says about you is coming and sourced from them. So why would you receive it if it's not true or beneficial or uplifting. But if it's true, it's not even offensive because, you know, if they point out something you did wrong or said wrong, that's a blessing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
thank see,
correction. Yeah.
like it's great. See, so
Yeah.
I never take offense.
Mhm.
But the whole world is so offended. It's like it's the next righteous thing to be offended about everything. Like, oh,
Mhm.
you don't respect my pronouns, and oh my goodness, you know, like it's so much easier in life when you don't take offense.
I
Mhm.
Yeah.
think
Because
that
anyway,
I think that a part of that too, for me, like taking offense is kind of like also not like choosing to not grow out of something or choosing to like not go past things. Sometimes, you know, we choose to stay in the moment of a victimhood or something like that when we've been provided the wisdom and knowledge how to, you know, move through those things appropriately and more quickly or in process in due time. But, that's where it says humble yourself before you become sick, you know, too. And because if not, that stuff will make you sick.
Mhm.
And the
well, that
power of
goes into
thinking for sure.
like people who are offended. It's a prideful thing. It really, if you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, for somebody to be offended, you must like you made me look bad or sound bad or something.
They don't
Like
know
that
who
comes
they
from
are.
pride. It comes from pride.
Exactly.
I go, you can't offend me because of whatever. I mean, you know, if you don't like the way I look or the way I'm made, well, talk to my creator. Like, really, I didn't make me, you know, like there's
Yeah.
things I can improve, you know, of course, but
Well,
generally speaking, you know, go ahead.
besides that, just like the power of your mindset of like if you're always thinking like the negative side of things versus the positive side of things, then that can have impact on your health. Like a person who's constantly like, oh, this is going to be a bad day or whatever,
Oh,
woe
yeah.
is me, versus somebody who's just always positive. Like going back to that, the studies that in this book that I was watching about, um, you know, in contrast to the negative side, she was reporting that through her patients and studies that people who had that positive mindset all the time, they like she was finding like no cases of sickness within them. It was all on the negative and the anger and the all those emotions. So very fascinating.
What they say, anger or hate or revenge is a poison that you're trying to give to somebody else that you're drinking yourself, you know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it destroys you, this hate and all this animosity. But I agree with you completely what you're saying, Haley, in those studies.
Oria, were you able to hear what I was saying while you were gone?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I looked in the interlinear on Sirach, and the word that is used for healing here is what verse is it again?
19.
19. Okay, what's really interesting is in the interlinear translation of this app, it says learn before you speak and use physic,
That's what mine says.
physic, or ever thou be sick.
Mhm.
So this word in Greek, go back, show Greek, there we go. All right, so this word in Greek is therapo, I think. Therapo, and it means to serve or to heal, healing. It's used in like when Messiah says, they lest they see with their eyes and they turn and I heal them. This is the same thing for healing. I was looking in where you just caught me as I was getting ready to go now to the regular interlinear and look for it translates into yesheb in Hebrew, which is healing. So I'm going to go look at to treat. I don't know. You guys can keep talking. I'm looking. I also was looking in um, the book of Nazarene because there's something that is so um,
Is there the
Rel-
verse like the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nations?
Yeah.
That healing? Is that the same heal?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I was thing in Nazarene. I can't find it. Now I'm
We're
just
putting you to work, Uriah. I'm putting you to work.
yeah.
All you guys were talking about, like positive mindset, it kept saying in my mind, renewing the mind to align with what scripture says about you. And so because you have that mindset already, to not even let that like affect you, because what scripture says about you is different than what anybody could ever say about you. Like they're always going to try to pull you into the world, but when your mindset is set on scripture and what it says about you and who you are to Yahuwah, nothing can affect you in that way. And that's beautiful. That's what kept coming to my mind, was renewing the mind.
We're to bring every thought captive to
Captive.
obedience.
Yep.
Every thought.
Exactly. Every
We have to
single thought,
capture those
because not
thoughts
every
that are
thought is
floating.
from Yahuwah. Not every thought is from yourself. There's so many that try to affect you in your mind. And I've been teaching my children that, because they'll be like, well, I don't know why I thought that. And I'm like, I know you don't know why you thought that. I know you don't understand that, but take that thought captive and say, no, I rebuke that thought. Don't allow it to change who you are, who Yahuwah made you to be. And another one too, we at the end of the night, we always say, I am good, or well, not necessarily good, but I am kind. We always say the fruit of the Spirit. And I want them to sink that into their mind of all the wonderful qualities that Yahuwah has made them to be, so that they rebuke all the bad thoughts, and that just doesn't even come into their being of who they are. And so we do that every night. And I hope it continues to just bless them and become who they're made to be.
Mackenzie, I love this so much, first off. But also too, like as you're talking, I have to do a process in my own head, like taking thoughts captive, and it's a literal visual. So like it goes into my head, it gets to my eyebrows, and that's the point where my eyes can look and examine at, you know what I mean? And if it's not of him, then it literally does not get to go past my eyebrows, and it has to be cast out. But if it is of him, it gets to come through, it comes come out of my mouth and down into my heart and penetrate deep, and that's where I get to let it stay. And that's with every single thing. Yes, I'll have to do that. I find myself doing that anytime where I get weak. Just take myself through that little process.
I love that. I'll have to do that for my kids, because I think they would like that a lot too. I feel like they're very visual people. Like I'm very like, I don't necessarily have to be a visual, but at the same time, yeah, it
Made me
resonates.
think of rodeos where the guys go out and they rope those calves that are running away. That's a thought. And you got to rope it in and kind of throw it on the ground and put its feet up in the air and say, are you a good calf or are you a bad calf? You know? So
who are you from?
That's just me in rodeo land here. Just thought.
I love it.
So
Yuri, you say something? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
He raised his little hand. I didn't know.
No, it's like I actually have maybe it's not the best example of like how emotions can change you and everything, but when I used to play this specific video game, like a soccer game, where they had like you had to play 30 games, best results, and all these things. Like I tried my best because man, that game got the worst out of me. I'll just straight up say it. Whenever my parents were away, I just scream at that game and man, dude, just stupid. I'm glad that I don't play it anymore. But I remember like when I remember when I tried my best to like Yuri, just don't complain, please, and just even when the game, because you could see how rigged it was sometimes to make you lose. I'm like, don't complain. I was like staring at my screen, just no emotions like that, and I found myself even like mentally playing so much better than when I actually let all my emotions out, even the worst emotions. I know it's not the best example, but I could literally see the difference even before like I was in this walk and all these things.
I think that that is such a perfect real world example, and that is bringing the physical to the spiritual. And I mean, I think that that was just really fun, Yuri. Good job.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All the time that I scream at that game. Also,
Um,
fun fact, not a so fun fact, but I do remember hearing from somewhere that like people who get more angry have a like more risk of getting a heart attack or something like that. I don't know where I heard it, but I remember something like that. I don't know how much that is true, but it can make sense.
yeah, absolutely. Um, so I did the language thing and I have it all ready for you guys.
Yay.
So the word that's used here, and use healing if you are sick. There are two primary words for healing in Greek, and they have two different meanings. One, that's not this one, is iome, and it's to heal. And this talks about the supernatural healing of the Father. But the word here, which is therapeu, which is the root word for where therapy comes from, the root word in Greek is thera, which is to burn, which is really interesting. This therapo is to bring healing by reversing a physical condition, to restore a person having illness. And it's in this, it means to wait upon, to worship, to adore, and to relieve a disease through waiting on the Father and reversing what caused the issue. So the other word is healing, where the Father brings out this supernatural healing and you're immediately healed, and that's one form of healing. But this form of healing, learn before you speak and use healing if you are ever sick. This is our responsibility to do. Yes, we're waiting and we're worshiping the Father, but we have to go back and we have to heal the things that caused us to be broken in the first place. This is where therapy comes from. This is going back and working through our traumas and reversing the physical condition, like reversing the condition that caused the issue in the first place, basically. So it's one is all about the supernatural healing of the Father versus the other is about our co-creation of healing with the Father and how we have to work with him to bring forth, what is it again? Therapo or therapon. In order to bring about that kind of healing, it's our participation as well. It's cherishing something as well. So it's this worship and cherishing of something that brings about the healing. It's like, I don't know, it's like going back through. It's a very strange word, but it's willing service. It can be faithfully, tenderly bringing about the healing of it's to serve. So yeah, that's where a therapist comes from, somebody who serves and brings about healing in that way to work back through what brought the destruction. Jack.
As you were talking, but then at the end of it, I just kind of I lost the connection of it. But can you read that one part that you had started to read whenever you said the healing part again? Can you say that part again? Just the scripture part where it said in the Bible or in
Just in
what you
here,
read. Yeah.
it says, learn before you speak and use healing if you are ever sick.
Use healing if you are ever sick. So,
it's surrounded by learn before you speak and before judgment examine yourself. It's like hemmed in before and behind by this
okay.
judging, ruling rightly, and examining yourself.
And then, yeah, humble yourself before you become sick. So it all kind of ties in.
Like this healing is directly related to going within the Father to work with you through your inner places.
Mm-hmm.
I thought instantly of like praise and worship, like how that is
That's
healing.
that's what I'm going to. That's
I
where,
had
and
a
that's
feeling that's what you were thinking, like the praise worship,
yeah,
that living water flow
yes,
heals.
yes. And it
Yes.
doesn't have to be like, I guess maybe I was hearing a heaviness in the description of it, maybe, or something like that. But there's a lightness in that healing. There is, and it's in the praise and worship of the trauma that
Yeah.
even that happened, and I think that that's kind of what I feel in. That's why I was like, I felt the connection of Raiden, my son, this child that I had that was stillborn, and I'm just like, there's healing in that, but it's a beautiful thing, and it's not a heavy thing. I don't know if, but yeah.
Yeah, so the second definition of this word, so it's to wait upon, but it's to adore and to worship.
Ah,
As so it's like it is literally saying that this form of healing is not one that is meant to be, it's not the same as like purifying fires or whatever. Like
yeah,
this is a gentle sort of, and what we were just talking about in Romans 8, like all things work out for good for those who love Yah and are called according to his purpose. This is literally how, through this healing, we heal by worshiping and adoring the Creator and all that He's done as we allow Him to go back and lead us through all these things. And we worship Him in this process. Um, which makes me want to end on some worship even more, but we got to finish the text. We're like not even fully all the way there. We gotta get going. We're like 2 hours in already. But yeah, it's worship. It's a form of worship, this form of healing. Um, yeah. Anybody else before we move on real quick? And
Yuri.
oh, Yuri, yeah. Hey.
Like, I was raising my hand and I had to do this anyway. Like, verse 19, learn before you speak. I don't know why my mind went like, it made me remember of like, I thought it was a saying in Italian, but it's actually a song that is literally said, it literally says like, I'm trying to think of the translation in English, like, before you shoot, before you
Sing it.
shoot,
Yeah,
think.
sing it. I was gonna say
You
sing
need to
it in your
think.
language. And
Yeah,
then
before you shoot, think. And I thought it was a saying this whole time, but I actually searched it now. It was actually a song, but like it makes sense at the same time, even if it's not in the context that the song came. Like you have to think before you do things. Sometimes you gotta go. Like even yesterday, I literally vented out one of my colleagues, even if she didn't hear it, because I messed it up. I messed up, and I didn't hear well, and I was starting to get a bit frustrated to myself, and it was literally coming out in one way or another. I was like, man, yo, I don't like, I literally do not like it. In my head, I was like, I don't like where this is going. But then I vented out, and I just feel bad. So
Is it
sometimes, like, you gotta, yeah,
is it aim before you shoot that you're thinking about? Because what aim means is to focus, concentrate, be still, be calm, look at what you're trying to hit, and then you pull the trigger. So you have to aim before
no,
you shoot is the saying. And the aim is the calm before the execution, the firing.
yeah, I was just thinking about the name of the song, and literally the
Yeah, I
name
don't
of the
know.
song, you literally translated in English is like, before you shoot, think. It
Mm.
was like meaning to the mafia with all the biggest event that happened with the mafia and all these things. Yeah, it wasn't that great, but yeah.
Yeah. There's connections between this week's study and then the Thursday study now. It's all like this topic or idea of, taking your thoughts captive. What you allow into your mind or into your heart is going to come out through your mouth. And on Thursday, we studied Lashon, which is the tongue. You can bring life or it can be death, which all ties into this sickness. And yeah, I'm just putting all these little dots in my head. It's really cool. Looks like Oriel's gonna play us a song.
No,
We're a
I
very
just
We're
chatty
gonna take
family.
2 hours.
We're a chatty family. That's why it's 2 hours. We're very chatty.
no, I knew that if I was gonna do a song, I needed to have the guitar tuned because it's been a minute since I've had it open and stuff. So I got it tuned if we do decide to do some songs. But we are not even through the text yet. So we need to really quickly finish up. So Haley, would you read for us from 24 through the end, please?
Think upon the wrath that shall be in the end, and the time of vengeance when he turns away his face. When you have enough, remember the time of hunger. When you are wealthy, think upon poverty and need. From the morning until the evening, the times change, and all are soon done before Yahuwah. A wise man shall revere in every matter, and in the day of sinning he shall beware of trespass. But a fool does not observe time. Every man of understanding knows wisdom, and shall barak he who finds her. Those who have understanding in words also become wise themselves, and pour forth splendid parables. Do not pursue your lusts, but restrain yourself from your appetites. If you give your being the desires that it pleases, it shall make a mockery to you, to your enemies that slander you. Do not revel in excessive pleasure, nor be bound by its expense. Do not become a beggar by feasting through borrowing. And when you have not in your purse, for you shall be lying in wait for your own life and be plotted upon.
Anything out to you?
Lots of good stuff in there. Yeah, it's just a reminder to always, I have underlined verse 25. When you have enough, remember there are times of hunger. And when you are wealthy, think about poverty and need.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one's beautiful. 28, I have underlined every man of understanding knows wisdom and shall bless he who finds her. And do not pursue your lust, but restrain yourself from your appetites. I underline that one for me because I know how the weakness of my cell phone. It's like, I think a lot of us has that. I don't know, maybe not, but I do have I have a hard time breaking the habit of keeping my phone away.
Yeah, pick it up first thing.
Screen
Badly.
addiction. Yeah. And it's like restrain yourself from your appetites. I need to
They have those little lock box. I'm tempted to get one myself. They have these little lock boxes for your phone, and it won't open till a certain time, so you don't even have a choice, like to like a time gauge or whatever. I don't know, but
yeah.
it's
Yesterday.
interesting just to keep yourself from it. And then obviously once you get into a habit of it, you can do it yourself, self-control. But just it was fun. It's just interesting because I think about that. Like first thing I do is grab my phone, glasses, and head out the door. It's like, no, out of my room.
Yesterday, I was so frustrated with myself because, well, first of all, when Oria mentioned that she was going to do a social media fast, I was going to comment on it because I felt convicted, like I need to do that too. But it's like, I need to do that, like, not just for a period of time, like that needs to be like a permanent, like, fix for me. And I was going to comment on it and say that I would join her, but then I was like, that voice in my head is like, I just know I'm not going to be honest about, like, not honest, but like weak. I'm weak in my flesh. Like, so I know this is a problem. And I know if I said that I'm going to do the social media fast, then I just had a feeling I wasn't going to follow through. So I didn't want to commit to that. But even just yesterday, I was getting frustrated with myself because I realized that I'll be on my screen for too long. And so I'll put it down. And then like just subconsciously within a minute, I'm just like grabbing for my phone again. And I'm like, why am I doing that? I need to like, so I'm not going to pick up my phone. And then I'm thinking, what can I be doing right now? And then it's like, oh, I want to bake something. So, oh, well, I need my
You
phone.
have
I need to look up a recipe. And then I was like, no, okay, so I'm not going to do that. And then I'm like, I have all this whole pile of clothes that I need to, I've been trying to sell, but I haven't been able to sell. So I'm like, now there's this website, Vinted, that you could sell. I'm like, but I need my phone for that. I'm like, no, okay. So I'm trying to find something that I can do without my phone. And it's like, what? Like, it's like we're so programmed to need our phone for everything. So anyways, now I'm off on a tangent, but that's what
Yeah.
that brought up, those verses brought up in me. It's like, that's
It's
the weak
fair,
flesh.
and we all
It's most of the, it's like the many times I've done it myself. I don't know if about y'all, but like I just went on an app, closed it, and reopened an app just seconds later. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Every time, man.
I will do that. I'll like start to scroll and then I'm like, this is boring. I'm like not even interested in it. So I'll put it down. And then, yeah, like you said, I find myself picking up again. And I'm like, why? Ugh.
So it's not just a social media fast that we were doing. It's a radical denial of what the flesh wants. So we are, it looks a little bit different. Like we're not fasting the exact same way. For me, it's a lot of phone. I'm also going without cannabis for a little bit, not because it's harmful, but because it pleases my flesh. Um, and when it, I think that it's sort of this, our neural pathways are formed in a way to receive dopamine from these things. Um, and the more I can practice feeling the urge and saying, I want to do this thing with my time and energy because it feels good, and then just saying no to whatever that is, whether it's food or pleasures in other ways or scrolling on social media or whatever it is, that even though it itself might not be inherently wicked or evil, if it causes me to feel good and to spend time doing this rather than spend time with the Father. It's this fast is not just fasting social media. It's looking at my flesh and my dopamine response and being conscious of that and how it affects my phone and how it affects social media and how it affects my relationship and these things. And so when I remove just specifically what the phone is for me, the phone is a conduit. It's an easy doorway for me to give into my flesh, but that's not the main problem. This phone is not a threat to me. The phone sits here and it's an inanimate object. If I don't have the thing that's in me, this has no power over me. So it's not this that I need to go without. This thing, I keep trying to go without it and I keep coming back to it because the issue that causes me to be addicted to this is not actually this. It's the dopamine. It's that rush of this is pleasing to my mind. It's stimulation. It's constant stimulation because when I sit, my note in my it's also one of the reasons why I use cannabis is like my brain is just constantly and it's overwhelming and it's overbearing and I either like smoking helps alleviate that pressure or scrolling and giving my brain something to do. That's where I'm needing to go back. So it's not even about the phone specifically. It's not about specific food, even though I'm fasting and giving up sugars and giving up like things in the food realm and I'm only eating from these hours and like I'm still fasting, but it's so much more than just food and it's I'm attacking my flesh in this season and the parts of my flesh that drive me to have addiction to this, that drive me to have no self-control with sugar, that drives me to have no self-control even with sexual things. Like just that's all related because it's what gives us that dopamine. It's a release of the hormones and I'm no longer interested in choosing the dopamine over what the Father's goodness is. And so that's just to kind of, I don't know, I just kind of posted it like a quick paragraph of what we were doing. But yeah, it's so much more than just social media. It really is for me. I know that the social media addiction feeds the other things, which feeds the other things, and it's all sort of tied and related. And I can't fix the issue by trying to go without one of the things. It's all of it. I have to get to the root cause, and it's my weakness towards needing dopamine. So yeah, Jackie.
If anybody, oh gosh, hold on a minute. We're gonna let Zoom do.
Sorry, that's awful for me. Mine is back to the study, so it wasn't on this, and so I didn't. If anybody else had their raised hand for that, okay. So, this morning I was talking to Jerry, and this year going through the feasts has been really fun to see the journey, the full encompass of what the feasts are and the purpose maybe behind them and the transformation of the heart. And Sirach really just kind of takes you through that. But it's actually really cool. If you look at chapter 18, I started noticing it, like it's kind of taking you through the same practice of the feasts. And then even too, as we're coming up upon these fall ones, I think of where where it says something about crappy, where did it go? Oh yeah, when you have enough, remember the time of hunger. And that just makes me think about afflicting yourself. And I just love how, to me, this just connected to the feasts greatly. And I don't know, maybe not to anybody else, but I'm kind of, I don't know that I'm hoping that somebody else can kind of comment on that maybe, because I'm also trying to learn more about these feasts that we're walking into. And I feel like that there was some more type of a connection here. Or maybe I'm just.
Yeah, atonement.
The atonement, I feel, is like what we're coming up
Yeah.
to.
Where
And
you afflict your bang and you don't.
yeah, it's like knocking down your pride. It's like where you're humbling yourself.
Yeah.
And then you're about to have to go through this time period of maybe dying to yourself, like the seasons, you know what I'm saying? And so
what you're saying ties into something, not necessarily directly what you were saying, but it oddly ties into what I was thinking. I noticed in verse 21 and then in verse 27, it talks about the time of sins or the day of sinning. Literally, a time of sins means that there's literally something that Yahuwah himself, there's a time for. So it says, from the morning until the evening, the times change, and all are soon done before Yahuwah. A wise man shall revere in every matter, and in the day of sinning, he shall be aware of trespass. Or in 21, it says, humble yourself before you become sick, and in the time of sins, show repentance. So this sort of does, it ties into atonement, it ties into, it's really interesting, these feast days, all of the holy ordained feast days were set in the heavens before we were ever invited to them. The salvation, Mashiach, the Lamb, was brought into existence before man ever sinned. So there's a time for atonement, and there means that there's literally like the whole sinning and needing atonement is a part of the Father's plan. Like it's a part of all of it for us to experience his glory. And it's like, to me, when it says there's a time for sinning, it's unavoidable. If the Father says there's a time for sin that we will walk through, it means we can't avoid it. And it means the Father knows that it's going to happen, and there's still good that can come from it. But there's a set up time for sinning. And when you find yourself in that time, not to be discouraged that you find yourself in sin. Like, yeah, we don't ever want to stray. We don't ever want to turn away. But when we find ourselves in the time of sinning, we revere Yahuwah in every matter. A fool does not observe time, and the man of understanding knows wisdom. So it's literally like part of us being able to inherit all the good things is to know and see that there is literally even a divine timing for when we sin. There's a divine timing for that, so that we need atonement, so that we revere Yahuwah in all matters, not just the good, but also when we do walk through our seasons of sinning. Like that's literally just, that's what I've never thought of, like a season for sin. But we are prescribed seasons, day and night, seasons change, and we are prescribed seasons of straying so that we can experience the Father's glory. That's how I see it. And you guys want to agree with me, but like that's how I see it. And I don't, anyway.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think no, I think that that's the testing time too, and and that was kind of reverts back to the prayer this morning. There was a part in there where I had prayed that we can pretty much just help us to where we're sinning less, so that way we're experiencing less of our own self-inflicted sin. We're going to experience the sin of the world still, and that ripple effect through it also, but we can at least in that time, that season of sin, we can at least try to keep down ourselves downplayed as much as possible, as we grow and refine each year and each, and continue the spiral of growth, I guess.
I just thought of the woman crying at Yahusha's feet because she had great sin, but she knew who was in front of her, and she was just weeping at his feet and crying and using her hair and anointing his feet, and just loved greatly because she had sinned greatly. And when you have sinned greatly and you're forgiven, you just love with so much more. That's what I heard when Oria was speaking. When you go through such dark places and Yahweh pulls you out, you have nothing but such love and thankfulness and gratefulness. His mercy is great.
My mind keeps going back to like last week, and then also like earlier, maybe weeks ago. I don't know when it was in our studies in this book, but like last week, there is a verse that says that like he shows us all good and evil. And I was mentioning like the tree of good and evil, and then that very first encounter of like it was laid before Adam and Eve. Are we going to choose to trust Yah, or trust our flesh and our own understanding? And it's like brings me back to like what we talked weeks ago, or at least I mentioned in one of our studies, like this whole idea that we had to enter that fallen state, like that had to come upon us, because like we have to experience this life in the flesh and all the evil that comes with that in order to be able to choose. Like we have to how I don't know if this is making sense. We have to experience the good and the evil so that we can choose Yah in his
Yeah.
way. Do you know what I mean? So
I do. Yahusha, that was something that he had to see. Like, that's why he had such humble means and such a humble beginning. Like, he was born from the poorest of the families, right? He saw all the hard times and he experienced all of that. But obviously, like, he had the Ruach within him. So he was able to navigate and, but he was also, yeah, he went through all of that. So I agree. I think if that's resonating or not, but
yeah.
butter and honey he was fed with.
share. And I want to
Anyway,
read.
well, I was just a couple things I wanted to mention. Almost get lost in the stories sometimes. Anyway, to whom much is who he is forgiven much loves much was what Mackenzie was talking about. And anyway, I want to mention, because we were talking about social media before in a fast, and I think everyone's aware that my Discord got kind of hacked and screwed up a bit. Well, that wasn't the end of it. After that, I've had my Instagram, my TikTok, my YouTube channel, everything has been infiltrated, and my Telegram. And Telegram was really bad because I was getting notices from Russia, Telegram, telling me that all these access codes were being requested. It was all in Russian. So I had to translate it to know what the heck they were talking about. And then I found, like, I was out working. I don't carry my phone with me. I was out working shop. I come back in the afternoon to check on stuff, and all my contacts, just about all of them, have all been sent multiple links, messages to child pornography.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, to click on to link, it started off, oh, are you tired of ordinary porn? I've got something for you.
Oh, how
It was
horrible.
absolutely atrocious. I didn't click on the links or anything to see what they were trying to sell, but they had a whole list of, you can see, and they're describing
Oh,
you could see. It was disgusting. So I spent, rather than working, I spent over an hour and stuff trying to delete all these messages that had been sent out from my account because it had my picture right there. So they were in my account. And I did all that.
is it all tied to one email?
Well, it was login. It was a login for Telegram. Okay, so however they did it, I have no idea, but I have a sense that it was from some Russian dudes.
Mm.
And it's also very coincidental that this all started right after I had posted and shared a video exposing Obama's corrupt rise to power. And immediately after that, I just got completely blasted from all kinds of areas that make me wonder the tech people or stuff must have had some complicity in it or something because it went through so many platforms. Anyway, so I deleted all this. I want to tell you this is to be on the watch out. I am still trying to fix this. So I deleted it all, then I come back, and then the next day they had logged in again and done it all over again. And I was trying to change my passwords and do two-step verification, you name it. I was trying to secure my accounts. Oh, well, we can't allow you to do this. And like there was so much problem. So I ended up, after having it all done again, sent out all again. I sent messages saying, I didn't send this, I didn't send this, I didn't send this. I deleted my Telegram account because I thought the only way I can hopefully get a handle on this is just to completely delete the account because I wasn't able to secure it. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know I don't have a Telegram account in case anybody is trying to say that, contact you from Telegram. It's not me because I don't even have one anymore. But I was going to wait a bit and see if I can create a whole new profile. So it was quite interesting, though, that I got it purged so much stuff from social media because I've had this account for a decade or more. And so there's just so many people and so many contacts. And I thought, that's a blessing in disguise. I'll just reconnect with people that I should be and not have this huge list of contacts that I never talked to, but yet they were able to get messaged because through history, right? Or whatever it is. And I thought, well, this is a good thing. I'm not going to have such huge contacts that are years old and never talked to. So it's actually a purge. And I go, hey, it's where Yahweh is able to work all things together for the good to them that love him. So he's taken this horrible thing of trying to promote child pornography and just the most gross stuff I imagine, just the way they were describing it. And it just got me to get rid of the whole thing. And I was thinking, I just might have to do that with a few other accounts too. Just purge and then just restart. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because I'm still in the process. And I was thinking of some way, if there's ever a question of something, if it's me or not or whatever, I'll just mention something like I'm on the Zoom chats. That's the one, or something that identifies me from some other hacker that might not know this, unless they happen to listen to this Zoom chat and say those words. But I just wanted to make people aware of it.
Yeah.
It's never happened to me before, and I've been online since the internet started, and this has been really bad.
The good thing is we know you, and so it was an easy red flag. Like it did not make sense. And even though like I've only known you for a short time, I even was like, that don't seem right. And then Jackie's husband.
Yeah, well, I would hope to
definitely
think
not.
that you would
There
think
we
that
go.
sharing child pornography isn't my, cup of
No,
tea.
no.
That's good. Thank you. I mean,
No, I mean the original. Like
The
no, the
crypto
first thing
thing.
you sent me. No, not I
oh,
haven't
the
received
first one. Oh, the
that.
Discord.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
okay.
Discord. I haven't received that because I have Telegram, but I don't think I have you as
No,
a
we
contact.
weren't. But I just wanted to mention that just
Yeah.
because it seems to be out of my. I'm trying to get a handle on it, and I just deleted it, and I'm just leaving it for now for a time being, and then I will, because I've had the same cell phone number since cell phone service came to the public. Okay, so that's a good thing, but then it's a bad thing because it's never changed. I've had literally the same phone number for 25, 30 years.
Mine's been the same
Okay.
since high school. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's and there's so many things connected to that phone number. It's like, you know, I don't want to go out and start changing phone numbers just because somebody's hacking stuff. So it's a real pain. So I could solicit some prayers in this regard to overcome the evil that is intended to destroy and stuff like that. That would really be appreciated. In the days ahead, if you guys are praying, pray that I can resolve this or have the wisdom and stuff to hold off or to try or whatever to be able to walk this path correctly to reestablish whatever should be and to avoid what shouldn't be and all that and so on and so forth. So I really appreciate that. Okay, that's my bit.
All right. I do think, I guess I will say, I do think you're into your instinct of thinking that this is the father's way of working things out. I think you're spot on. I think, yeah, this is a dilemma that seems like a setback, but I think what the father is allowing you to do is have a clean slate of maybe even finding proper balance of your um involvement in these different forms of social media and how much you're going to them or how much you're using them or whatever, like whatever it is, your involvement in social media and contacting people is currently under fire, which means the Father's purifying it. And at the end of it, you will be more refined. So that's good. Yeah, Yuri.
So before I go, Telegram is the worst. I'll just say that for those things. I'll just straight up say that. But anyway, verse 25, when you have enough, remember the time of hunger, and when you are wealthy, think upon poverty and need. My mind went into like, what are you consuming? How much we are all consuming in general. I mean, the best example is when I went to the US, especially when I see like six fast food chains at six fast food chains like on my left and on my right, and I'm like, this is too overwhelming. What is it? What is happening in here? Because you won't see that in Italy at all, literally at all. And even like looking at the large size coffee, and it's literally like it could be a super large in Italy, but anyway, it's like that. Like the the best and worst example is like the US, how much you can consume without even realizing because how much they literally force it on you so many times and everywhere, like an ad there, here, there, and it ties in like in the social media fast that you are doing, Oria, with even Hesed Yahoo. In like I thought about the Shabbat, how like how good it is as well because it literally is to deny your flesh as well. It goes really deep into like deny your flesh and remembering who Yahuwah is and why he created the Shabbat, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think we're finally done with the discussion. I just really quickly, we can still do the worship songs if we want to. But because it's so precious, I'm in Luke 7, and I really want to read the couple of verses that talks about the woman wiping Messiah's feet with her hair. So the beginning of the chapter says, and when he completed all his words in the hearing of the people, he went into Kephar Nahum, which has been on my Ruach recently. I'm pretty sure I mentioned Kephar Nahum to Jackie when we were there staying. Kephar is the word for village, and Nahum is comfort. So he went into the village of comfort, and this is where this whole thing is coming to. So in the very, very end of this chapter, Yahusha is invited into a Pharisee's home named Simon or Shimon. And I'm just going to read the last little bit. One of the Pharisees asked him to eat with him, and he went into the Pharisee's house and sat down to eat. And see, a woman in the city who was a sinner, when she knew that Yahusha sat at the table in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster flask of perfume, and standing behind at his feet, weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears, and wiping them with her hair on her head, and was kissing his feet and anointing them with the perfume. When the Pharisee, now this is a man who, it's not a Pharisee that Messiah would have lashed out at with the tongue. Most like in Nazarene, we see that a very vast majority of the Pharisees were actually honest men and sought the Father. Even if they had a shallow understanding, they were still seeking of the Torah. This is one of those men. This is Shimon, one of the Pharisees who followed Yahusha. But still, it's still a Pharisee of self-righteousness, right? So it's still, he says, when the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he spoke to himself, saying, this one, if he were a prophet, would know who and what kind of woman this is who is touching him, for she is a sinner. And Yahusha answering said to him, Shimon, I have something to say to you. And he said, Teacher, say it. And this is the parable of the creditors. A certain creditor had two debtors. The one owed him 500 denarii and the other 50. And when they were both unable to repay, he forgave them both. Which of them, then, shall love him more? And Shimon answering said, I suppose the one whom he forgave more. And he said to him, You have rightly judged. Turning to the woman, he said to Shimon, Do you see this woman? I came into your house, and you gave me no water for my feet, but she has wetted my feet with her tears and wiped them with the hair of her head. You gave me no kiss, but she has not ceased to kiss my feet since the time I came in. You did not anoint my head with oil, but she anointed my feet with perfume. Therefore I say to you, her many sins have been forgiven, and because she has loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, he loves little. And he said to her, Your sins have been forgiven. And those who were sitting at the table with him began saying among themselves, Who is this with even he forgives sins? And he said to the woman, Your belief has saved you. Go in peace. So anyway, this is literally like there are still people who follow the Most High, but when they sin and they have a greater portion of grace, it causes them to love greater. And so there's a season for sinning. And it is not that he leads us into sin, but it's the reason why the world is the way that it is, so that we can be humbled before the Father, so that we can experience what life is like when we don't have him with us. That's what it's for. We do.
Makes me think of the movie Inside. Inside, I think that's the name. Yeah, you can't experience joy without sadness.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's it. Do you want to do the songs real quick now that we're already almost 3 hours in, or do we want to end it at 2 hours and 45 minutes?
Just
We can do the
one
song.
question. Just something I wanted to throw out there. You know, that we have to experience and wants to experience good and evil and all that stuff. And then have you ever pondered then why was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil a forbidden tree to eat from? If he wanted us to know good and evil. So why was that the only tree that was told not to speak of or not to partake of?
Because when it's translated in English, it's translated as the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which kind of brings forth this like, oh, you can know good and evil. But what it's actually saying is like you're taking the right to judge good and evil for yourself. And it's saying I have the right to discern good and evil outside of the Father's understanding of good and evil. So it's not necessarily that we know good and evil. It's the human's ability to try to discern good and evil for ourselves. And we so often get it wrong when we try to discern evil for good for ourselves. I don't know if that makes sense. The Hebrew is a little bit deeper in meaning than just the knowledge of good and evil. It's like the full understanding of good and evil is now in the hands of mankind, and that's not good.
Sounds like people making self-gods out of themselves. Back to that.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
That's a bit, yeah. No, that makes more sense with that, not, like, yeah, keeping the, if you try to do it independent of Yahweh's judgment, definitely you don't want to try to go there for sure.
Yeah. So much of this is because mankind tries to decide themselves what is right and what is wrong. It's literally the condition of man. It's why everybody's way goes, and you have different divisions and denominations, and you have different governments, and it's all about because man doesn't actually know right from wrong.
You know what's
Which
worse
leads
than that?
us,
You know the saying, well, that's your truth and my truth. And like everybody says, well, that's your truth. I won't, almost makes me want to strangle people sometimes, but not really.
I think it leads us right into the song beautifully to open the eyes of our hearts, and that way we can.
Yeah, I think the book of Nazarene says something similar to that, though, to what Jared was saying is don't say this is true or that is wrong or this is right. Say this is true according to the Torah. This is wrong according to the Torah. Saying it, this is what Yahuwah says is right and wrong versus what your own opinion says. I just read that in Nazarene.
It brings me back to like last week when we were talking about, like, I was picking up on the different wording of there are things that he gives us knowledge of, and then there are things that he gives us understanding of, and then there are other things that he's just showing us. And so I think that's what I was trying to like bring out when I look at the picture of the garden of that first encounter. It's like it's not that we didn't like it. Yah showed them, he shows us good and evil, but I don't know, there's a difference between seeing it or knowing it because Yah has told us, and then the knowledge and then the understanding of, I don't know, I'm probably not communicating that well, but
This is the reason why we are learning right ruling and judgment according to the Father. I mean, it's all part of it. We're literally reversing what was done in the garden by taking the fruit, like Adam and Hawa, taking it to be able to dictate for themselves right and wrong. And now we are saying, I don't want it. Get it away from me, because we are reversing that. We are coming back to the right ruling and right judgments of the Father, which I think is lovely. It's all tied in. It's like somehow all of these like unrelated things, like Sirach is not related to the things that we are studying this week, but yeah, somehow.
yeah, that's what I was trying to like. It's so crazy and cool when that happens, but all these like little nuggets or dots, they start connecting in your mind, and for me, I can't communicate it well, but it's all there. It's like, I'm seeing it.
It's how we know it's the Father and not our own power and ability. It has nothing, like I'm continually humbled and blown away and like thankful that continually I'm the one like leading this group, but like it has nothing to do with whether or not I'm prepared. It has nothing to do with what I think is important. It's literally like the Father is speaking to all of us, and it all seems to just be every week after week after week, he's doing it, which is just really cool. I don't know, can you guys hear the guitar here when I am talking? Okay, great. Did anybody have anything else to say before I just do these songs real quick? I found the other song, by the way. So the first one is Open the Eyes of My Heart. The next one that has the part that says do not let us leave the same is High Tide, which I've done it before, and it's about this water. Anyway, so we're gonna do both of those, but I'm gonna start with Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. And I haven't sung or played in a while, I think, so we'll see how this goes. Open the eyes of my heart, yeah. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, yeah. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you.
your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, yeah. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. We want to see you. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. We want to see you. Open the eyes of our hearts, yeah. Open the eyes of our hearts. We want to see you. We want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. We want to see you.
I realize that that song is literally like the same thing over and over and over and over. Is that the song you were thinking?
Good.
That was beautiful.
1,000%. That's just
Oh,
because
okay.
every time you say it, you just mean it more and more and more. You know, it
Mhm.
doesn't feel so repetitive when that's your actual prayer, you know, like
It
when
got
that's
better,
what you
yeah. Like
want.
as it went on, I
Yeah.
felt that too. Like I started singing with you because now I can sing it because I know it now.
Yes.
And I was able to sing it
Yes.
and worship too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Lines you up with him and just,
Can you link that? Because I want to have that in my, I want to have that song. That is so good.
I never heard that before.
I've never heard it either.
Wow, this is one like
You've never heard
in
it?
the like year
No.
2000s and like in church and choir or up on the worship stage or whatever. We sang this one a lot. To me, like this was like a real popular church song.
I
Really?
guess that's the difference between
Interesting.
here and Ohio. I've never
Yeah.
heard it before. It's
Wow.
beautiful. It's
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
a good one.
When you first said at the beginning, open our eyes, I thought, I mean, whatever the song was called, I
Open
thought
the
of
heart.
Open Our Eyes. I know a song called Open Our Eyes by something Haddon. I can't remember his name, but I'll share it later.
In Hebrew, guys. So holy, holy, holy is you can say Kodesh, which is common. I pronounce it Kadosh just because of the Hebrew. So I'm gonna sing Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. And then I want to see you is Ani Ratsa Ata. Kind of. Kind of. There's more linguistics in there, but for it to flow with the music, it's Ani Ratsa Ata. So I'm gonna just do maybe the bridge twice through, singing in Hebrew, if that's cool with you guys.
Yay. Yeah.
I think also like holy in English, kadosh is what defines the Father as unlike anything else. It is completely set apart. There's nothing that compares to it, and it's completely and totally pure. Kadosh, 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 ani ratzai ata. Kadosh, 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 ani ratzai ata. So I can keep going with that, I guess. But yeah, I
This
can't even
is just
open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Like I know some of these words now. Like I don't know.
Oreo.
Anyway,
What's so amazing to me is this morning when I said Shabbat Shalom, Bakhtar Tov, I legitimately was about to write, open the eyes of our hearts, Father. In Hebrew, I Googled it on my phone and everything. And then here you are praying it in Hebrew right now. So like, I don't have a problem if you want to go back and sing that again. I mean,
I'm looking at
And it's in Hebrew. It hits different. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I'm looking at it. So in Hebrew, to say "open the eyes of my heart" is patach, which is literally to open. Patach ata, patach ata aini libebi, which is open the eyes of my heart. I don't know if I could sing it. Patach ata yini. Patach ata yini libi. I think that's what it is. Ani patach or patach ata yini libi. I don't know. I can read it, but to sing it, it's probably a bit too difficult. But open the eyes of my heart and and then it's just ani ratsa ata again. So maybe this is a song. I'm looking at the chorus to see high and lifted up. Lifted up is either yada or halel. So to see you. So ratsa. So honestly, like shining in the light of your glory. I feel like this is a song that I might be able to figure out in Hebrew and do it all in Hebrew at some point, because I think that'd be really cool.
Will you say it again, the words again?
Yeah, which
The open the eyes of the heart.
yeah. I already got off of it. So
Sorry.
no, it's
I was
okay.
just saying it over and singing
It's okay.
it. So
It's patak. So pe, tet, and het. That's patak. And then at is a word that's not in English. It's like the fullness of something. There's literally no translation. So when you're saying open the eyes of my heart, in Hebrew you're saying open the complete fullness of the eyes of my heart. But you don't have that. At is literally aleph and ta. It's the beginning and the end. It's the fullness of the thing that you're talking about. So
will you say the words though?
patak ata. What was the
Ani? Is that what you said?
it's lamed yod noon yod. So the lamed is oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I got off of it and then I'm gonna go
I want to hear
back.
Kenzie sing it.
All
Acapella. I know your voice is beautiful.
All I have so far is atakatani.
right, so
Based off of like the sound of what you've strummed so far.
patak. Oh, yeah. So patak at. Yeah. So at patak at ayini. Ayin. So ayin is I. So Patak ata ayini, which is my, yeah. Patak ata ayini libi. Patak ata ayini.
You said something else though. It was like
Libi is
Libby.
my heart.
Libby.
So patak ata.
Libby. I can't do it. I can't flow in.
Yeah, I think that's like it's weird in English
is
to
weird.
try to put it into the music. Let's see.
Yeah, it goes too high and then low and then. But it felt, it resonated. Oh man, if you could put it in the song.
Yeah,
It might be one of those that you might have to merge like English some and Hebrew some and just kind of go back and forth in it or something.
Or
I'm
even
gonna
change
get it all
the
into
notes a
Hebrew
slight
somehow.
bit.
Yeah, there's a way to I know there's a way to fit it in. We're doing just
To
purely
make
Hebrew.
it your own.
I think it's an assignment that I'm gonna have to figure out because it's
Yes,
beautiful.
please. It was hitting different in Hebrew. It was beautiful in English, but I don't know, because it's the language that he speaks. It made my Ruach just light up.
Oh, it's really, I should have followed through. I was just, I've been having those little nuggets of fear. I just thought that this was going to hit. I didn't do it out of fear of somebody else's reaction, to be honest with you, on why I didn't put something in today. And now it's like, Jackie, you really should have just done it. Here we are talking about these words in Hebrew, and I felt led to put it in the text this morning. And it's like another one of those times, that you're just like, Jackie, just always listen to that inner.
Like Jared said earlier, don't let fear ever stop.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it's perfect because now you have this beautiful confirmation and things that you wouldn't necessarily have before. Because if you led with that, it would have influenced this somehow, but now it was free of influence. And the way that the Father confirms these things is so much more profound than had you put the Hebrew in the chat.
Yeah.
So here's something interesting. I've been feeling led. I have this book. It's called the Korahim Telhim. It's a complete side by side of the Hebrew for every single psalm. And I've been practicing my reading of Hebrew so that I can sing these songs in the Hebrew. And it's all of the psalms. So, but it's also like I'm going to have to figure out the music to it. But yeah, I'm practicing it so that I've literally wanted to sing in Hebrew. So it's something that...
Is Blessed Assurance one of those?
I think singing, I'm doing this again, but real quick, singing in Hebrew might be a way that we all start learning Hebrew.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm learning Hebrew, like just even looking at the side by side. So as we know the songs and then we sing them in Hebrew, our brains are going to be rewired. Yeah, absolutely. You should probably end the recording. I don't know. We're now at 3 hours. Where's my...
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it really matters. I think if anybody's watched this far, they can just stop at the songs if they want to, or they can keep listening.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I don't know the key for this one, but this is High Tide. There we go. High tide, let the water wash away where my heart hides. Show me all the things that your love finds. Chase away the shadows in my mind. It's high time, Holy Spirit, just need you to pass by and fill me with the fire of new life. Let me burn with you from the inside. Holy Spirit, flood this place, purify
Have your way, move in mercy, winds of change. Please don't let us leave the same. High tide, let the water wash away where my heart hides, and show me all the things that your love finds. Chase away the shadows in my mind. It's high time, Holy Spirit, just need you to pass by and fill me with the fire of new life. Let me burn with you from the inside. Holy Spirit, flood this place, purify us, have your way, move in mercy, winds of change. Please don't let us leave the same. Come in waves of power, come in waves of hope, come in waves of holy like I've never known. How I need the helper, how I need you close. Come in waves of glory like I've never known. Come in waves of power, come in waves of hope, come in waves of holy like I've never known. How I need the helper, how I need you close. Come in waves of glory like I've never known. I don't know if I can go up with this. Come in waves of power, come in waves of hope, come in waves, that's too high. Waves of holy like I've never known. How I need the helper, how I need you close. Come in waves of holy like I've, that's too low, high. How I need the helper, how I need you close. Come in waves of glory like I've never known. High tide, let the water wash away where my heart hides, and show me all the things that your love finds. Chase away the shadows in my mind. It's high time, Holy Spirit, just need you to pass by and fill me with the fire of new life. Let me burn with you from the inside.
That's becoming one of my favorites. I've never heard that before either until you started singing it.
It's so good.
So beautiful. The melody. Oh,
Yeah, it's one of Chesed Yehu's favorites when he asks me to
can't
sing.
lie.
That seems to be one of his
Oh
requests.
yeah.
We're gonna have to do that one in August, and Mackenzie
Yes.
can harmonize the high parts.
Oh my God, Mackenzie's coming and Haley's coming, and we're gonna be able to worship together with harmonies.
This is why I need to have lyrics, even though I don't know. I just can go with somebody else's tune. For some reason, I can do that. I can harmonize. I don't know anything about music except that I have an ear for it. That's
Yeah.
about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know like anything else, but
I have a sticky note here that, oh, gosh, this was back with like one of my first private conversations with Jackie ever. And I wrote
But
the
I do
sticky
have
note,
that.
it's still sitting here. And it says, make a video about the tuning of the inner ear and ear development and how that connects to spiritual refinement. And your inner ear, I've told you that your gifting is very similar to mine, and you're a feeler. You're a prophetic feeler, and you feel the heart of the Father. Like, I don't see prophetically visually. I don't hear things the same way. I'm a feeler, and I feel the Ruach. You feel the Ruach because your inner ear, and it's the same thing. Your
Yeah.
inner ear is tuned, and it's manifesting. And like, you don't have any musical training, but you know how to detect even the
Yeah.
slightest differences of those frequencies. So anyway, I literally was just today like, dang it, I need to make this video. This is the sticky note that's just sat here and sat here and sat here. So thank you for that, because I need to make this video.
There's a lot of greatness still to come that is just still sitting there waiting for its time. So it shall unfold when it is due.
Yeah.
I think honestly, guys, like the video can end or whatever, but I think I'm gonna keep worshiping. It's Sabbath. I don't got nothing else to do, and my guitar's tuned, so I'm gonna keep worshiping.
I'm
Y'all
just
can
here.
teach me
I'm
how to
just
use
here by
my
myself
guitar.
today.
Okay, I think we should probably end the video though. We should probably go ahead and end it, and then for those who
Jump
want
on
to,
praise and worship in Discord.
yeah, yes. Well, actually, I can't do it in Discord
Oh yeah, the
because
sound
yeah,
doesn't come in
Your
right.
audio is way better this time, by
Yeah.
the way. It's the best it's ever
It is.
sounded.
Seriously,
It-
I agree.
yeah.
I'm
So
gonna-
I'm
I'm
not
gonna
on this phone anymore, guys. This is my primary phone. It is dying. It doesn't connect to Wi-Fi. The audio, the Bluetooth is broken, and I'm on this backup thing now. So I'm glad that it's working out. But yeah, I'm gonna sing some more songs. And Haley, if you're here and you have some songs that you want to sing, you got your guitar, we can take turns. It doesn't have to be just me, but I know that Hesed Yehu asked yesterday about getting into worship, and we just didn't have the time. And I think we literally were talking about healing through praise this morning, so we need to do that.
I'm actually gonna leave. I'm gonna go hang out with the hubby. It's our anniversary, so I'm gonna go do that. But you guys enjoy praise and worship together and have fun.
Shalom.
Bye.
Shalom.
Zoom users
Shalom,
say
I have
shalom.
bye.
to go too. I've got 3 kids and a husband that's also feeling the same way, but I definitely look forward to like hearing more and more.
Yeah. Amen.
All right,
Well,
shalom. Shabbat shalom. Love you all.
Shabbat shalom.
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 I'm heading off. I'm having someone arriving, and